Now when Jesus heard this, he withdrew from there in a boat to a deserted place by himself. But when the crowds heard it, they followed him on foot from the towns. When he went ashore, he saw a great crowd, and he had compassion for them and cured their sick. When it was evening, the disciples came to him and said, "This is a deserted place, and the hour is now late. Send the crowds away so that they may go into the villages and buy food for themselves." Jesus said to them, "They need not go away. You give them something to eat." They replied, "We have nothing here but 5 loaves and 2 fish. And he said, "Bring them here to me." Then he ordered the crowds to sit down on the grass. Taking the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, and blessed and broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples. And the disciples gave them to the crowds, and all ate and were filled. And they took up what was left over of the broken pieces, 12 baskets full. And those who ate were about 5,000 men, besides women and children.
You know, there's something deeply human about this story that hits me every time I read it. Picture this. Jesus has just received devastating news about John the Baptist's death. His cousin, his friend, the one who baptized him, gone, murdered by a paranoid king who couldn't handle the truth. What does Jesus do? He tries to get away. He needs space to grieve, to pray, to process this loss. I get that. We all do. When life hits us hard, sometimes we just need to disappear for a while, right? But here's where it gets interesting. The crowds won't let him be alone. They follow him on foot. Imagine that. No cars, no buses, just people walking for miles because they desperately need what Jesus offers. And when Jesus sees them, despite his own pain, despite his need for solitude, what does he do? He has compassion. This word compassion in the original Greek literally means to be moved in your guts. It's not just feeling sorry for someone, it's when their pain becomes your pain, when you can't help but act. That's Jesus. Even in his grief, he sees their needs and starts healing their sick. Now, here comes the part that makes me smile every time. Evening approaches, and the disciples, bless their practical hearts, come to Jesus with what seems like perfectly reasonable advice. "Jesus, it's getting late. We're in the middle of nowhere. These people need to eat. Send them away to buy food." Makes sense, right? But Jesus drops this bombshell. You give them something to eat. Can you imagine their faces? I picture them looking at each other like, did he just say what I think he said? They're probably doing quick math in their heads. 5,000 men, plus women and children. We're talking maybe 15,000 people here. And we have 5 loaves and 2 fish. It's like being asked to cater a wedding with a happy meal. But here's what I love about this story. It's not really about the miracle of multiplication, though that's amazing. It's about what happens when we bring our not enough to Jesus. The disciples could have hidden those 5 loaves and 2 fish. They could have said, "We have nothing." Instead, they brought their inadequate resources to Jesus and said, "This is all we have." And Jesus said, "Bring them here to me." I think about this in my own life. How often do I look at my problems, my limitations, my resources, and think, this isn't enough? My patience with my kids isn't enough. My energy for my work isn't enough. My ability to help others isn't enough. My faith isn't enough. But what if the point isn't having enough? What if the point is bringing whatever we have, however small, however inadequate, to Jesus? Notice what Jesus does next. He doesn't just wave his hand and make food appear. He takes what they have, he blesses it, he breaks it, and then he gives it back to them to distribute. The miracle happens in their hands. They become part of the solution. And here's the beautiful part. Not only does everyone eat until they're satisfied, but there are 12 baskets of leftovers. 12, one for each disciple. It's like Jesus is saying, "See, when you bring your little to me, there's always more than enough." This story challenges me every time I feel overwhelmed by the needs around me. When I see homelessness, when I hear about friends struggling with depression, when I witness injustice, it's easy to think, what can I do? I'm just one person with limited resources. But maybe that's exactly the point. Maybe Jesus is still saying, bring what you have to me. Your smile, your listening ear, your small act of kindness, your prayer, your $5, your hour of volunteering, bring it all to Jesus. Because here's what I've learned. God doesn't need our abundance to work miracles. He specializes in taking our not enough and making it more than sufficient. The question isn't whether we have enough, it's whether we're willing to bring what we have to Him. So today, whatever you're facing, whatever seems impossible, whatever resources seem inadequate, bring them to Jesus. Let Him bless them, break them, and watch how He multiplies them in ways you never imagined.